Okay, students, let's go over your practice test here. Write the equation, the axis symmetry equation means it better have the equal sign in it. Okay, that formula is x equals negative b over 2a. You should have that memorized. All right, so negative b is a negative 4, so that makes it positive 4. And a was negative 1, double that to make it negative 2. Simplify that, and you get x equals negative 2. There's my equation of my axis of symmetry labeled right there. Find its vertex. So now I take that negative 2, plug it back into the equation to get the y coordinate. If I do that, I get negative 1 for the y. So the vertex identified right there is negative 2, negative 1. And that says, is that a maximum or minimum? Well, I look over here at the coefficient. Since it's negative, that means it opens down. So therefore, it's a maximum right there. All right, number 2, graph the two roots, negative 4 and positive 4. The maximum or minimum point is always at the midpoint of that, which is 0. That's why you see it as 0, 3. And then obviously you'd have to open down. That's the maximum point. So all the other y coordinates have to be less than that. So that's just a rough sketch right there. Okay. Number 3, solve the equation by using quadratic formula. So in the random answer, the nearest hundredth. So here I have wrote down the quadratic formula to begin with. That's what you should do. Then fill it in. You get this right here. That's the exact answer. But they don't want that. They want the nearest hundredth. So now I plug both those answers in the calculator, and I get that answer, those two answers right there, round to nearest hundredth. Number 5, graph the function y equals 3 to the x minus 1. Since this base is greater than 1, that's an exponential growth. Exponential growth always goes like this versus exponential decay coming down. Okay, so that's a growth one. This is a decay one. Okay, now the easiest thing to do on that is just make an XYT chart. So if x is 0, I plug in 0, that gives me negative 1. 3 to the negative 1 is 1/3. So at 0, you see it down here at 1/3. At 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. 3 to the 0 is 1. So 1, 1. At 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. So 3 to the 1 is 3. So at 2, it's 3. And at 3, it's 9. Okay. And there it goes. It does not cross the x-axis. If you cross it, you lose points. Don't cross it. Number 6, solve the equation. Well, here we have two different bases. We have base 2 and base 16. We have to get to the same base. So I can change 16 to 2 to the 4th. That's the same thing as 16, and then raise it to the 2s power. Okay, well then now I have a power to a power, and the rule for power is multiply. So that equals 2 to the 8s. Well, now that I have like bases, I can just set their exponents equal to each other, which is what I did right here. Subtract the s across, you get 7s equals negative 1. Last step, divide by 7, you get negative 1/7. Number 9, 9 over 54 reduces to 1/6. And here I have 1a and I have 5 in the denominator, so I have 4 more a's in the denominator. Okay, that 1 cancels out with one of those to drop it down to a 4. Number 8, x squared minus y squared is a difference of perfect squares. So I factored into x minus y and x plus y. Now, notice this says y minus x, but I can factor out a negative, and now it changes to x minus y. And then those x minus y's cancel, and that negative, I just move it up top. And then I can distribute that negative through there, negative x minus y. Okay. Number 9, I factor both of them, and they have no factors in common, so it doesn't simplify. Just, you know, I do have it set so that one of them will cancel on the test, so it will simplify. Number 10, I factor them again in here. So 9 and 10 are the same type. And here you see the x plus 8's cancel, so you're left with x plus 2 over x plus 6. Number 11, factor in. I always factor out the GCF, which is 3, and I'm left with 5m minus 9. Okay, this is multiplication, so I can either vertically cancel or cross cancel. Well, 8 here cancels the 45 times. Okay, and then I had 4 ends there and 2 there, so those 2 are gone and left with 2 ends down there. Here, this denominator, I can factor out the 3. I'm left with m minus 4. then those 3's cancel right there. So what I left across, I'm left in the numerator, 5n minus 9. I'm left with a 5n squared in the denominator times the quantity m minus 4. So there's my answer. Number 12, factoring again, but now remember this is division, so it changes to multiplication by the reciprocal. So this 24 comes up here and the x minus 3 goes down there. So now that 24, after I factor out this 6 in here, off of 6 times quantity x minus 1, that 6 will cancel with the 24 4 times. Here I have x minus 3 and x minus 2. I mean x minus 3 and x minus 3. And here I have 1x minus 3 down here, so they cancel. Okay, so then I just multiply across, and that's what I get. All right, backside. Quotient. You just want to, I can use long division, but it's easier to use synthetic division. So the root of x plus 2 is negative 2. So I see negative 2 there. You always start with the 1 there, and you drop that 1 down. Well, actually, not with a 1 necessarily. It's whatever this coefficient is. 1, negative 5, and negative 8. That's why you see that there. You drop the first one down, whatever it happens to be. Then I multiply. Negative 2 times 1, I put it up here. Negative 2, then I add down. I get negative 7. I multiply negative 2 times negative 7 is positive 14. 14 minus 8 is positive 6. This last one is always your remainder. So I'm left with x minus 7 plus that remainder 6 over this divisor right there, x plus 2. Number 14. I see I have an x minus y there. I can make this x minus y by factoring out a negative, and then it becomes x minus y. And there was a negative there, so a negative out of negative is a positive. That's why that switched to a positive there. And now I already have like denominators of x minus y, and then I just add the numerators. Negative 4 plus negative 4 is negative 8. All right, 15. Here's the long division bar right there. So I wrote that right here, and I just changed that long division to divided by this denominator right there. And of course, then division gets changed to multiplication by the reciprocal. So I need to switch those two, which I did here. Then the b minus 4's cancel out. I'm left with b plus 2 over b plus 3. 16 is the longest one. I forgot to put round to nearest 100th, I think. Didn't I say 100th? Didn't I do 100th? Yeah, 100th down there. So that's what you'll do on the test. If you forget, just ask. Okay. So I have different denominators here, 3r and an r minus 1. So I'm going to multiply by the common denominator, which is both the denominators, 3r and r minus 1, through the entire equation to get rid of the fractions. Okay, so obviously the 3r's cancel left out in the first one, and I'm left with the r minus 1 times the 1. So it's just r minus 1. I have the minus sign right here. I drop down 3r. I mean, the r minus 1's right here, they would cancel out for that one. And I'm left with a 3r times that 3r, which I have written right there, which then multiplied together gives me negative 9r squared. So that's what I'm left with on the left side. And then I multiplied these two together, which gives me this one right here, 3r squared minus 3r. And I have to multiply that by negative 8. I get negative 24r squared plus 24r. I have a quadratic. All quadratics are set equal to 0. First, get them all on one side, set equal to 0. I want the smaller to the larger. So I added the 24r across, minus this 9r squared, gives me 15r squared. This gives me minus 24r and a plus 1r. That's plus 1r there is minus 23r. And I still have that minus 1 right there equal to 0. That does not factor, so I must use the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula, I wrote down right there. There's the quadratic formula again. Fill it in. Make sure you plug it in right in a calculator. There's the exact answer, but we're going to go to the nearest hundredth. So now plug that in a calculator, 2 answers, and you get those 2 right there. All right, that goes ahead and explains this practice test. Your test will look just like it with different numbers.